Hey, what is up guys? This is Lemillion Nation coming to you again with another video. Now, spoiler warning for those anime onlys, and I assume if you're still here right now, you wanna actually hear my theory. Now, as you can tell from the thumbnail and title of this video, what we're gonna actually do is we're gonna deal with time travel. This theory is gonna be centered around Bakugo and the recent events of the manga, and I believe that Bakugo will travel back in time for various purposes. Now, let's get into the video. Now, how we're going to tackle this video, we're going to tackle it in various parts. Each different part can give you a different aspect of looking at the theory itself, or it could give you a different perspective, as if you can look at it from a different angle, or you could look at it from all angles and see how everything actually pieces together. Now, the first piece that makes this theory make sense is Aries' power. We saw it mentioned in the manga explicitly that Aries' power only works on living persons. Now, another theory I'll have coming out is that Aries will actually rewind Bakugo's body itself to the point where he has his quirk factor again, because as you're seeing from the current manga 285, we saw that All for One took over Shigaraki's body and pierced Bakugo. We don't know whether he's gonna steal his quirk. We don't know whether Bakugo is gonna die. We don't know what is gonna actually happen to Bakugo as of yet until chapter 286 comes out. So we're left to really speculate right now for the time being. Now, as you could see from previous chapters, where persons were speculating that Bakugo was the second user of One for All. NANI?! You could look at his gauntlets on his arm right now and look on the vestige of Bakugo that was put in Deku's mind. You can look on the vestige of the second user of One for All and see that he has that same gauntlet, and he looks like an older version of Bakugo and he's in silhouette. So anyhow, what we'll actually look on is that Bakugo himself will travel back in time, and he would actually tell the first user of One for All that he is supposed to pass down the quirk One for All after he got it from his brother to future generations, because that would actually explain how the first user would know that he has that quirk, because he didn't know that he had the quirk before. How would it just activate just like that? Maybe there could be instances where I could know how to activate this quirk, probably expose him, probably he was gonna die something, and he knew that he should pass on the quirk, or maybe Bakugo told him. That would be the easier method to look at. Now, Eri herself, we see that her power is incredibly special. Her power is incredibly special, and it works on living persons only. Is it that she is going to rewind Bakugo back to a state where he actually has his quirk factor, All for One takes it, or is it that she's going to actually send him back in time, and back in time he would actually tell the first user of One for All that he can pass on the quirk to future generations in order to stop All for One, because he already doesn't like his brother and doesn't like the idea of quirks themselves like that, as in how All for One is using them. We also saw from the anime and from the chapters that Mirio plans to ask Eri if she could actually rewind him so he could get back his quirk. So that's another theory in and of itself. Look out on my channel for that. I am the one your son don't need. So Eri will send Bakugo back in time. That's one theory. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. This is not the end of the video. That's only one aspect to the video. Now look on this now. My other point is gonna be Bakugo alone. Bakugo alone was one of the users of One for All. As we saw from the movie, we saw it in Heroes Rising. Bakugo alone did not have any memory of using the power. Yeah, he got the power. Him and Deku used the power. Deku transferred it to Bakugo. Bakugo didn't completely process like that. But it was only Bakugo alone who didn't remember anything. Why? I think that his past vestige and actually took control of time, and that was why he was able to use the power so proficiently. And that vestige didn't really say anything while he was fighting. Did you notice? He didn't say anything while he was fighting. And he was just like, he just learned how to use one for all as proficiently as Deku in that state. No, I believe that his past vestige took control of him, just as how we saw in the recent chapter of the manga 285. All for One, who was a vestige, came and took over Tomura Shigaraki's body. That was actually fact. That actually happened. He controlled him. So since he actually controlled him like that, we saw that Tomura fainted. So we know that past vestiges can control the user. And that is definitely something that we saw happen, and that adds credence to the video, guys. That definitely adds credence to the videos. So if Bakugo was controlled by his past vestige while he was knocked out, because remember that he was very injured, and if the vestiges really wanted to, yeah, they could actually take control of someone, because they actually stopped Nine from taking Deku's quirk. Really, they came up and stopped Nine from taking, even if you're gonna say that he didn't have enough space for it, but no, they actually came up, and we saw at that point Nine like realized that he couldn't take the quirk. You could say that, yeah, he just didn't have space for it, or the vestiges stopped him. But one thing that's for sure is that the vestiges are there. They are present. They can explain certain things. They can take control, as we saw All for One take control. He's forceful, but maybe the second user of One for All was Bakugo in the future, took control of Bakugo and told him, you know. Well, not told him definitely like that, but took the memories from him so that he didn't remember anything. Because we know that the movie is canon, yes. And we saw Hirokoshi actually mention something after the interview as well. He was saying expect something far crazier in the manga. If we like how Deku and Bakugo cooperated then, we're supposed to expect something far crazier in the manga. And I believe that this is at the point where he's going to explain that crazier thing. And I believe that that is Bakugo going into the past and actually telling the first user of One for All how to use the quirk, and him being the second user of One for All. And we know that One for All makes copies of all of the quirks that it actually comes in contact with inside a person. Now guys, adding to the other points that I was mentioning, this can be the fourth point. So the fourth user, so I did that 4.4 user. Bruh. We could say that the fourth user of One for All may have had the time travel quirk, which is why his quirk was erased outside of the book that All Might had. Remember that when Bakugo and All Might were talking, Bakugo was asking, why do you have such detailed notes on all of the users? 5th, 6th, 7th, you know? And you're the 8th. Like, we know all this information about all these other users, but we don't know the information about the fourth user. It was in fact scribbled out. It was marked out. No information was there any at all. Along with the third and second users. So along with the time travel theory, the fourth user himself could tie into that, as he could have had the time travel quirk, where Deku could actually use that time traveling quirk in order to go back in time or send Bakugo back in time. Even if you're not going to say Aries going to send him. Maybe Deku himself will have a time traveling quirk to actually send persons back in time, that aspect of the power, send persons back in time in order to fulfill a specific rule. That may have been also how the first user knew to pass down the power to generation after generation after generation, because the fourth user sent someone back to tell him, or went back himself with his power in order to tell the first user. Let me know if my theories make sense down in my comments, guys, and I'm moving on to the other points. Now, we know that One for All has a stockpiling ability and a transfer ability. That transfer ability, does it have to necessarily pass all of the quirks on at one point? Like, if Deku is transferring his ability, like, does he have to transfer all of the quirks one time? I believe that Deku can actually pass portions of his power on. If Bakugo actually gets his power stolen in this new chapter that we have coming out 286, because as we saw in 285, Bakugo was impaled by One for All. Maybe he's trying to actually steal. I don't think that attack was meant to kill Deku, so when it actually pierced Bakugo, maybe him being there All for One could actually take Bakugo's quirk, and then Deku, now having a previous vestige of One for All, being Bakugo who went back in time, Deku would transfer the explosion ability back to Bakugo, and that would be how he would actually get his powers back if All for One steals them. Yeah, guys, because even Bakugo himself was saying one for all and all for one are one and the same. Because all for one was one for all's older brother, so he could give him like the same abilities just like himself, and it's actually in essence the same quirk. It's in essence the same quirk. Now another point to this is Deku able to actually take quirks otherwise than when it was actually like, if the quirk is passed down, like does One for All actually just take the quirks that is that in the vestiges, or can Deku himself steal quirks, or like in a sense take quirks away? Because like Shigaraki at the end of this, like he's gonna have to be stopped some way somehow. Is Deku gonna kill him, or is Deku gonna be able to take away his power? Like in Avatar when Aang took away the took away the firebending from the Fire Lord. Could Deku actually take power from someone else and then give it on to another person, or probably destroy something, but take away that evil power, that curse power from All for One? Or can he take away Bakugo's quirk before it's stolen from All for One? If you're not gonna believe in the time travel theory, probably Deku could take quirks, because we see him able to transfer quirks and take quirks from vestiges, yeah. But can he actually take quirks otherwise than that? So could he grab onto Bakugo now in this time and take the quirk from him, his explosion quirk, before All for One could take it? And then later on down the line, Deku would actually pass back that quirk to Bakugo in a transference ritual where we transfer just that quirk to Bakugo. I am the one, the way your son don't need. Yeah, guys, All Might was worried about Deku. He was worried, like he didn't know the true nature of it. Like in the manga panels, we saw that All Might was saying that he doesn't want to speculate on things that he's not sure about. Is it the exact same quirk as All for One? Can it steal quirks? Is it a curse power? Look at what it's doing to Deku's body. Look at what it like caused All Might to go through and everything. Is it a curse power just like All for One? Did All for One give the same power, like give him a combination of the same powers, like his little brother, give him a combination of the same power in order to make him like himself, or a good side or an opposite side of the same coin? Could they be two? Like they appear to be completely different. Look at what Itachi was saying when he was saying, like, I know that this is a Naruto reference, but look at what Itachi says. Sometimes two persons who appear to be complete opposites are like two sides of the same coin. In fact, they're like two sides of the same coin. Could One for All and All for One be something like that? Look at their names, they're just like one is the reverse of the other. You know? Couldn't their abilities be like mirror opposites of each other, or one and the same in essence? Look at it. Yeah, guys, so seeing that Bakugo is completely hurt right now, and Deku is seeing this right. Quirks awaken at a time when they would be desperately needed, when Deku desperately wanted to save everyone and lift them up above him, where he can float and black whip and so on. They manifested them when he desperately wanted to do something explosively in battle. Deku can unlock another quirk right now that could actually help him, because we see that Deku's arm is completely mangled and so on, completely mangled and wrangled. Maybe he's time traveling Quirk, or rewinding Quirk himself. Like maybe Ira would use her rewind powers on his arm and return it back to a state that it was in previously. Maybe Deku is gonna unlock a quirk that he can actually use to bring back his arm to a state when they were usable. Bruh. I believe that can take place. Like, isn't it weirder that Bakugo alone as a student? Why would Furukoshi focus on other persons know about One for All and All for One itself, the true origins, but Bakugo got the most focus and the most shine. Why is it that All Might is like training two inheritors? Why is it that All Might is like All Might is like kind of training like two new auto users? Isn't that kind of strange? That does seem kind of strange. Is Bakugo gonna inherit the power at some point, or maybe he already did? Maybe he's gonna inherit the power in the past, like how how his vested seemed like it looks completely like Bakugo. Really, does All Might know that Bakugo was that person? Does All Might know something about the fourth user who could actually probably send persons back in time, which could actually explain why the second and the third user were such mysteries? Or is All Might completely in the unknown, just like the rest of us, but he has guessed it and theorized, just like we are theorizing right now about all of this? You know? Just think about it. Some of these things actually can tie up. Hirokoshi himself was saying that something similar to what happened in the Heroes Rising movie is gonna happen in the manga. Hirokoshi is inspired by American comics. Look at what happened in Endgame, you know? In Endgame, they had to go back in time and actually beat the unbeatable enemy. Wouldn't he take something or something be inspired within him from that movie in order for him to actually make something work right now for us in this series that is getting totally inspired by American comics, and even partnered with them previously, partnered with Endgame, you know? Like, I believe that he's gonna be inspired by the American comics and inevitably take time traveling as an aspect and put it in his manga, because everyone is crying for that. Everyone is crying for that. Everyone loves that. I believe that he would like it. Sometimes it can be cliche, but if he does it like this, person would love it. And Bakugo would get a chance to redeem himself finally redeem himself. It's not enough that he actually just do it, that he's coming around. He needs to come around 360. He needs to come around 180. He needs to actually come around to the point where he actually apologizes to Deku and does something so great that he makes up for all the time that he actually bullied Deku. Guys, I believe that one of these theories is gonna actually come true. And if it actually comes true and you're listening to this, please share, like this video, and let them know where the actual video, where everything actually came from, all the theories and everything, all the speculations. Let them know where it's coming from. Yeah, I've been inspired by others as well, but I tried to put in all the mashup and connect the pieces with everything right now in this video. Guys, share this video, like this video, comment on this video, and let's get this video up to at least 600 likes and 1 million views by the end of November. Let's share this video and let's share all these theories, because I'm sure persons would love to see all of this. Thank you so much for all your help. Like, subscribe, leave a comment below, tell your friend if you don't like the video, dislike the video, if you like the video, like the video. Thank you so much, and check out my other theories, check out my other discussions, and check out my episode reviews. This is Lemillion Nation signing out.